Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Xiaomi15 here, and we're coming at you with week 2, my bad, of season 3 of the CPU. I'm of course joined with Techno. He could go ahead and say hi.
Yeah, guys, what's going on? I'm Techno.
And yeah, guys, once again, we had another amazing week of matches. Again, you guys are just doing a great job of just surprising us, providing us with a lot of good matches to commentate on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We don't really have a lot of time to really waste. So, if you guys don't mind, we're just going to go ahead and step right into the first game, which is going to be the Arizona Carvanas versus the Atlanta Braviaries, my bad. And yeah, that's pretty much the first match. Now, of course, we're going to see the Atlanta Braviaries, or no, my bad. We should, of course, start with the Arizona Carvanas. The Arizona Carvanas bring a team of Starmie, Mega Pidgeot, Archeops, Celebi, Klefki, and Talonflame. And of course, the Arizona Carvanas. Wait, did I say that wrong? My bad. Of course, we're having problems. First things first, the Atlanta Braviaries bring a team of Starmie, Mega Pidgeot, Archeops, Celebi, Klefki, and Talonflame. And of course, the Arizona Carvanas bring a team of Zapdos, Diancie, Crocodile, Blastoise, Mega Blastoise, Uxie, and Victini. Now, as I said here, guys, we're just gonna go ahead and jump into the match. First turn, guys, we actually see a very, or I should say, aggressive play. Our opponent, they both lead Starmie. They don't both lead Starmie. The Braviaries lead Starmie, and of course, the Carvanas decide to lead Crocodile. And of course, they make, a very aggressive first turn knockoff versus Starmie, knowing that they do have the Pasha Berry to protect them. Of course, Scald is a thing that exists, but I guess that they were they were pretty confident with this play here. Of course, that means that they were pretty much able to knock out the Starmie first turn. And as I said, Starmie was pretty much the only thing that stopped rocks from going. I can't say stop, but the only thing that could get rocks off the field once they are up. And of course, that being a off the field first turn is just detrimental to the Atlanta Braviaries team, because of course, as you see, they have a team of birds in the back. But anyways, going onward into the match here, of course, our opponent has the nasty plot Celebi trying to get those nice sweeps, but of course, that doesn't necessarily work out for Celebi, as the threat of Victini. Of course, Victini, even though they are rock types, even though Archeops does exist as a resist of fire, you're not necessarily switching that in on a Victini. I'm not gonna lie, that thing is probably gonna take a lot from a V-Create. But of course, we see the blue flare. It's not V-Create, but it still is definitely something that should be feared. And of course, spoilers, but the Arizona Carvanas managed to pick up a pretty comfortable win here, due to the fact that Victini just threatens him just to the point where it's just really bad. Talonflame here does get paralyzed. That sucks. He does get fully paralyzed over and over again, as weirdly enough, Mega Blastoise managed to get up a sub, managed to rapid spin away the rocks all before Talonflame could even beat it down, or before Talonflame could get unpowered and do anything significant. Of course, as I said, Mega Blastoise managed to take that thing down, and of course, the rest of the match is pretty much a clear win for the Arizona Carvanas here, as they have both Diancie, even though Zapdos got weakened early on, but both Diancie and Zapdos are just amazing bird checks that the Carvanas are able to make use of here, and pretty much get themselves a very comfortable win. As I said, the fact that they have two reliable bird resists, Mega Blastoise bulk taking on Talonflame, and just no real answers to Victini at all. That was pretty much the reason why the Carvanas were able to pick up a pretty comfortable win. Anything to say on that, Techno?
Yeah, the sub Blastoise, very interesting. Very unfortunate how that series of events played out, but I feel like this was a very solid win for their team. And without further ado, I think we can just get right on into the next battle, which was the Manhattan Mudkips versus the Golden State War Turtles. So the Manhattan Mudkips bring a team of Bisharp, Sandslash, Tyrantrum, Volcanion, Mega Gallade, and Thunder Asterion, while the Golden State War Turtles bring a team of Aggron, Goodra, Tentacruel, Gourgeist, Galvantula, and Clefable. So right off the bat, the Greenland Groviles are looking kind of... they can't really touch Clefable in any way that's not offensively. This is just a very offensive team from the Manhattan Mudkips part. And without further ado, just getting right into the battle. The Galvantula leads off versus the Sandslash, gets off a big energy ball, leaves it at 1 HP or 1% HP, as that is definitely an anti-lead Sandslash, but it doesn't work necessarily because of how much damage this Galvantula is able to do to two of the big threats on his team. So he's able to Thunder the Bisharp, get huge damage off on it, and then it gets a Sucker Punch off, killing the Galvantula, but it does so much that it doesn't matter that it's gone at the moment. So the Golden State War Turtles are going to be able to play very defensively with Goodra and Aggron because this nasty plot Thundurus can't really do much to the Goodra, or so it would be thought. But this is clearly not an Assault Vest Goodra, just because of how much that Hidden Power Ice did to it. Goodra's able to go down, but not before weakening something that it was going to be unable to touch in the first that was not going to be able to touch it in the first place very well. So Volcanion is proving to be kind of a threat, but of course the Golden State War Turtles have the Tentacruel, which they're able to go directly into, because that's just kind of a way that they can handle the Volcanion. And eventually, as the Tyrantrum comes in later on, it's able to get burned by the Gourgeist, one of the key points in the battle, in my opinion, because since this is burned, what's able to happen is Clefable is able to come in and start clicking Calm Mind, because, that's what all good players do. They go into Clefable, click Calm Mind, and just realize that they win the game. And, of course, he's able to win the game because Calm Mind Clefable is just able to pick through the rest of his team, just does really well versus everything. And I feel kind of bad for saying that Clefable wasn't as good as people make it out to be, because Clefable is a monster. It proved how much of a monster it is in this match. Even after getting crit by the Volcanion, it's still able to put in massive work, and Clefable is just able to late game sweep, kind of securing a 4-0 victory for the Golden State War Turtles. So, anything you would like to add about that?
Yo, I'd just like to add one question to you, Techno. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so why should I outplay my opponent when I could just just send out Clefable and just click Calm Mind?
Yep, that's
yeah, that was pretty much that's pretty much the theme of this battle here. Clefable just pretty much could have single-handedly tossed the team on its neck. I mean, Bisharp getting weakened and taken out by it was pretty bad there.
The moment just everything fell apart from there.
Yeah,
so
pretty comfortable win for them.
Is going to be,
Yes, that's right. The next battle
is going to be
the San Antonio Sparse versus the Detroit Drapions. Dewford Drapion. No, my bad. Yeah, Dewford Drapions. Now, first off, we're gonna get a look at the. Wait, wasn't this my match? Hello.
Here, wait.
Yeah,
Checking,
it was.
Yeah. It's yours. Yeah.
All right. So first up, we're gonna go ahead and look at the teams here. Now, the San Antonio Sparse bring a team of Gengar, Gorobus, surprisingly. Of course, that is Megalopony, Skarmory, Cresselia, and Umbreon. And of course, the Dewford Drapions do bring Mega Gardevoir. They bring Milotic, Shaman, what's this thing's name? I forget. Ninjask, my bad. Ninjask, Nidoking, and Latios. Now, just a team preview here. We just see just how fat the San Antonio Sparse team is. If you guys didn't know that before, well, hey, you know it now by watching this video. Their team is fat. Of course, with the Skarmory, they're just the lower half of their team. Skarmory, Cresselia, Umbreon just puts in a lot of work versus their opponent, and you guys are going to see that right off the bat. Now, first things first, this is a 97 turn battle, so you guys could go ahead and get comfortable. But long story short here, the Drapions do make good efforts. They do put coverage on Latios so that they can hit stuff like Skarmory. But of course, as I said, the core of just Cresselia, Umbreon, Skarmory, that just, even though one of their wall breakers get taken out pretty early in the game, of course Gorbis just gets crit. Oh my god, that poor Gorbis. Its ears must be bleeding right now from that hyper voice. It was too powerful. He just couldn't handle it, guys. Blown out the game really early. But even though that was the case here, we do end up seeing that as I said, the San Antonio Sparce's walls go down really early, which is one of the things that I think made this game really long. As we could see, as I said, Gorbis got blown out of the game really early, and of course, Gengar does go down to Milotic while taking him with it, unfortunately due to the burn and the Life Orb recoil. Now, once this happens, you guys are gonna see a pretty long and 97 turn match. Yeah, we're not gonna go through this entire match just because of the fact that we don't want this to be an hour-long video. But nonetheless here, what you guys are gonna see is that the San Antonio Sparce, with the core of Skarmory, Cresselia, and Umbreon, they do manage to pretty much wear down the opposing team, or the Drapions, quite easily. As even though they do have made good efforts, they do have Mega Horn on mons like Nidoking to touch Cresselia, which otherwise would be walled. To be honest, what's his face? Nidoking is a pretty good wall breaker as it's able to touch the majority of these mons. Mega Horn can hit Cresselia and Umbreon for super effective damage, and also it might be carrying Thunderbolt or Flamethrower to touch Skarmory. But unfortunately, that does die to the combination of Rocky Helmet and Life Orb recoil. Now, another thing that was really nice for the Drapions too was tricking Umbreon, of course hindering it from just being its fat regular self, which does come into play later on as you guys are going to see. But long story short, guys, it was pretty much a really long match, really long 97 turn match. Of course, Gardevoir getting poisoned also doesn't help, as Gardevoir is now, since that Nidoqueen is gone, Gardevoir is also now his main wall breaker, his main form of winning the game. And of course, as the Sparce are able to switch into their defensive cores for relatively free, because there's no Stealth Rock on the field, there's nothing really stopping them, they pretty much are able to wear down everything, as well as the fact that they're able to get up rocks that just really just hurt Ninjask in the back. As I said, Ninjask, with the rocks up, Ninjask can pretty much, it can't come in as freely as it would. Granted, I'm not really sure what Ninjask could have done to help the cause of beating the opponent's team, but as I said, everything on the Drapion's team can be walled by everything on the Sparce, and that pretty much, at the end of the day, is the reason why they lost the match, as they could have been able to switch between them and pretty much stall them out. Anything you have to say about that, Techno?
Yeah, very fat match. Just to say the least. Very bulky, wally, just in general. But this was a very well played match on both sides, in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these coaches do in upcoming weeks.
All right.
So next up,
yeah, next match. Go ahead and take it over from here.
we are going to have the Brisbane Breloons versus the Connecticut Crocodiles. So the Connecticut Crocodiles bring a team of Charizard X, Donphan, Ferrothorn, Chansey, Manaphy, and Gramble, while the Brisbane Breloons bring a team of Hitmontop, Rhyperior, Raikou, Venusaur, Chandelure, and Mew. Now, I wasn't really understanding why he brought the Chansey this matchup, but he obviously had his reasons. I just don't think that it had a very good matchup this game. So without further ado, going to get right into the battle. So he's going to lead off with Chansey, and I don't think he really expected like a Trick Chandelure, so he just goes right for Thunder Wave, as Trick does not actually come out, which is kind of surprising in my opinion, because I think that Trick could have done pretty well versus his team, especially considering the Chansey. Now, he has Calm Mind Manaphy, which is going to be really nice for stuff like the Raikou, but he's not going to want to stay in risking a Specs Raikou or anything like that, which would still do huge damage to it. So the Brisbane Breloons have a lot of responses to the Chansey. and I feel like that was a big part of this battle. He doesn't really have too much to like get the chance in on and safely do damage to it. And of course, he has a banded Gramble, which is able to put in a lot of work on his team just because of the limited switch-ins on his team. Yes, he has a Mega Venusaur, but the Mega Venusaur isn't even a very good switch-in. Finally, Trick Chandelure comes out, and Chansey is essentially crippled, getting a Choice Scarf, which was pretty big this battle. It's just going to be whittled down for the most part. Chansey's obviously not going to be able to do very much, and Banded Gramble is able to come back in, make sure that nothing really switches in very well later on in the battle, and nothing really can switch in, so it kind of just gets a kill every time it comes in. That's kind of the big part of this battle, and I feel like that's just like what happened and like why there wasn't really much that Aberforth could really do for this battle. So he's just going to knock off the Mew as it tries to set up Calm Minds, but of course that's not going to happen because Donphan is obviously very offensive with leftovers just because of the damage that it did to the Mew. So Ferrothorn is going to come in on the Venusaur and not wanting to risk an Ancient Fire, well, although he does risk it, he's able to stay in, get the Gyro Ball off, and he's just going to go right back out in the Chansey. The amount of work that Chansey was able to kind of put in for its weak matchup and its crippledness, well, I don't know how to like explain that, just the way it was like crippled to the point where like it didn't really have much it could really do was pretty interesting to say the least. Now, it gets to about turn 30, and this is where the Connecticut Crocodiles start misplaying big time. They stay in with Donphan on a bulk-up Hitmontop, which was excellent prep on the Breloom's part. However, I feel like if he just went right out into Gramble and didn't risk any of this, this battle would have been much easier for the Connecticut Crocodiles to kind of just like be able to come back and do a lot of work to the remaining parts of the Breloom's team. But unfortunately, that's not how it happens. Gramble does not come in until later, and Hitmontop is able to put in immense work until it's put in the range of Manaphy's Scald, but that doesn't really apply anymore because at this point, Pokemon like Rhyperior and stuff like that, Venusaur is also just going to be able to put in so much work, as well as even the Rhyperior and the Raikou, just because of this Choice Scarf Chansey, because it's not going to be doing too much to the rest of his team, and Rhyperior is going to be able to put in work as well as Venusaur, and that's kind of just how this battle plays out. It's kind of just him picking off everything on the Crocodiles team one by one with the Rhyperior, and eventually the Raikou is able to come in and it's able to 1v1 the rest of the team. Although Chansey is close to being able to bring it back, it's eventually not going to be able to happen just because it has to lock itself into Wish, and then it can't. The Donphan can't live the Stealth Rock's re-entry, and Charge Beam Raikou is going to be able to come through in the end and just kind of pick up the game from there. So that was a very good game. Well played on both sides, and I feel like this was just a really good battle to watch in general. Good prep on both sides, but I feel like this game could have been a lot closer if the Crocodiles did not misplay around the Hitmontop, if they just went right out into the Gramble. Gramble was just a safe switch in no matter what, and that's kind of just like what could have happened and like how this battle could have really played out a lot into their effect, the Crocodiles' effect, that is. And I feel like they were kind of in this battle from the start, but they just kind of lost all momentum when the bulk-up Hitmontop started to come in, click, high jump kick, and just kind of destroy everything, which was how the battle played out. So this was a very good, well-played match on both sides. And without further ado, I think we're just going to get right into the next battle. But first, because our friend Shami is not here at the moment, he will be back soon. But for now, we are just going to be covering the Arizona Dactyls versus the Mauville Mighty Hyenas. So the Mauville Mighty Hyenas are going to bring a team of Metagross, Gligar, Altaria, Blastoise, Terrakion, and Jolteon. And the Arizona Dactyls bring a team of Vaporeon, Breloom, Landorus Incarnate, that is, Kiram, Diancie, Mega Diancie, and the Azelf. Yeah, that's what it's called. So once he gets back, he's going to cover the St. Louis Reshiroms versus the Sydney Sharpedos when he gets back, of course. But so right off the bat, you're going to notice that this is another instance like last week. There's kind of just like a wall to everything on the Dactyls team like there was last week versus Paul, and that's kind of something that could cripple his team a lot. So without further ado, getting into the battle. So Jolteon's going to be the lead of choice as he just kind of goes into his Diancie, which is obviously going to be checked by the Gligar. Gligar obviously came as a Diancie response, just something to completely wall the Diancie. Dragon Pulse comes out on the Blastoise, which was good prep to make sure that Sub-Kyurem didn't do too much. And Sub-Kyurem was just really nice on his part. So close combat is like able to come in really nicely, and the damage it does to the Vaporeon. Sorry, someone just came in. So the damage it does to the Vaporeon is going to be really nice for the rest of the team to kind of just pick off everything else. And of course, Terrakion going to die at the moment, but Terrakion just did really good this battle, did really well. Jolteon, it's kind of like everything is in range of Jolteon now. Jolteon's kind of like the biggest threat to his team at the moment, and even stuff like Landers Incarnate is not going to be able to appreciate the Jolteon because of the obvious Hidden Power Ice, which is going to be able to come through in multiple instances. Iron Tail Jolteon was incredible to see for the Kyurem. Of course, it didn't work out the way I imagined the Arizona Dactyls wanted it to, or the Mava Medianas planned for it to happen, but it was still really cool prep on both sides' part. Well, not both sides, the Mava Medianas part. So as the Jolteon is able to come back in, Iron Tail is going to be able to make sure that there's very little switching that the Kyurem can do because of the Stealth Rocks. Jolteon's just able to put in so much work, especially with the Iron Tail, being able to pick off everything on the opponent's team. And the Mauville Medianas are able to win this battle, so very good battle. The Iron Tail was just so good to see. Of course, he did land 8 out of 8 Iron Tails, which was kind of like, it doesn't usually happen very much at all, but it was still pretty. It was a cool set, so he deserved to land it, in my opinion. Like, no other way to say that, really. But yeah, very good battle on both sides, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these coaches do in further seasons. So our next battle is going to be the Florida for Alligators versus the Emerald City Milotics. So I'm just going to tell him to cover the Philadelphia Scizors and the Butterfreeze match when he gets back. So what's going to happen is, so the Florida for Alligators bring a team of Garchomp, Tornadus Therian, Gardevoir, Audino, Suicune, and Absol. As the Golden State War Turtles bring a team of Mega Beedrill, Tyranitar, Stoutland, Mienshao, that's what it's called, Rotom Wash, and Aromatisse. So right off the bat, you're going to notice that Stoutland can put in an immense amount of work, and it's like if the Suicune is worn down, which it can get very easily on his team just because of stuff like Beedrill, then Stoutland is going to be able to come in kind of just like late game, kill everything, and I think that's how this battle could really play out. So I'm just going to get right into the battle. He's going to lead off with Garchomp, predicting a Beedrill lead. This was pretty good expected lead, but he's going to reveal Toxic Spike to Beedrill. Very good prep on his part. Very interesting to see at the very least, because what's going to happen now is stuff like Suicune can't really come in without being forced to rest, and that's really nice to see. Also, it pressures out the Absol, which wouldn't like to come in, and then it can just get Toxic Spikes up, which was also really cool. He's going to reveal Rest Garchomp here, the Florida for Alligators, and Rest Garchomp was very interesting to see at the very least. Rotom Wash, not going to be able to do too much to his team, but of course it's there as a stop to the, the Tornadus Therian. That's the way I see why he brought the Rotom Wash, as it can do a really effective job at walling the Tornadus Therian. And so Audino going to come back, and he's just going to get up his box with the Tyranitar. He's doing a very effective job at hazard stacking the Florida for Alligators, and by he I mean the Emerald City Milotics. They're just doing very well at hazard stacking, kind of just like getting this chip damage off that they need. And the rest is still going to come back through, but he has Hidden Power Ice on his Rotom, probably not wanting to risk a substitute Garchomp, which could be very threatening to his team, actually. In fact, it could just straight up sweep him if he had it. But that's not the case because he came very well prepped, and he just didn't have it in general. So the Audino is going to go down this turn to the Sandstorm, passing off a Wish, but it depends on what it's going to pass the Wish off into. So Rotom Wash stays in and takes this Moonblast, which is Life Orb, so it does a lot. It does a lot. So his Tornadus Therian check is efficiently worn down, which is kind of sucky for him. But the Suicune's just going to come in on the Audino, or not the Audino, the Aromatisse, and start Calm Minding up. And that's kind of a big threat to his team, if you're going to notice. So the Emerald City Milotics are able to come in with Tyranitar and the Suicune, pretty big part of the battle because of the defense drops. And that's kind of like really unfortunate for him because Tyranitar is able to put in much more work than it should have just because of those defense drops, and that's very unfortunate. So the Tornadus Therian check, which is the Audino, I keep saying the Audino. The Rotom Wash is going to go down to the Tornadus Therian, which is kind of ironic, but at this point, it's kind of like, okay, what's your sack to my Manchow? Because he's able to get the U-turn off, go right back out into Tyranitar, and then at this point, once he gets off the superpower, the Stoutland is able to come in and kind of just destroy everything. As I said, Stoutland is a massive threat to his team, able to pick off the rest of his Pokemon, and that's just kind of how the battle plays out. So, interesting battle. Of course, there was hacks on the Florida for Alligators side. Unfortunate hacks coming from the Emerald City Milotic side to the Florida for Alligators. So, interesting game. And without further ado, we're just gonna wait for my my co-host to come back.
Yeah, sorry about that. That's my mic died like halfway through, bro. Like I was trying to like talk half the time, it wasn't coming through. I do apologize for that, guys. I tried my best, but I am back now.
No problem.
And
so I just need you. So you just have to come Scizors and the Reshiram's game.
I think the Reshiram's was first. However, am I wrong? Yeah, the Reshiram's were first. All right. Yeah, once again, guys, sorry for me being missing in action. Now we do have the next game, however, and that is going to be the St. Louis Reshiram's versus the Atlanta Sharpedos. My bad. I still haven't learned any of these team names, but the Reshiram's versus the Sharpedos. Now the Reshiram's do have a team of Weavile, Thundurus, I believe Mega Medicham, Seismitoad, Fortress, and Entei. And of course, the Sharpedos do have a team of Kyurem Black, Reuniclus, Sylveon, Scizor, Mega Scizor, Arcanine, and surprisingly Stunfisk. But anyways, guys, we're just gonna get right into the match real quick. Of course, they lead Entei. The Reshiram's lead Entei, meanwhile the Sharpedos lead Kyurem. And of course, Kyurem just at team preview, or just as a lead here, is honestly just the most threatening Pokemon that you could really look at his squad right now. It's kind of strange that our opponent did not lead with the Fortress, but as you guys are gonna see, he does easily eat a Stone Edge from that wasn't a Choice Banded Entei, however, which is probably the reason why. But Kyurem Black being so bulky as to completely devour a Stone Edge from Entei and threaten it with the Earth Power. And Kyurem, of course, is just going to be just terrible for our opponent right here. Seismitoad does come in. It does set up the rocks. However, it's just going to get frozen by the Ice Beam, which is terrible for the Reshiram's here. Not sure what he went for with Seismitoad, but the fact that Seismitoad is just frozen is just bad. Freeze is probably the worst hacks that you could have. Of course, he does switch into Fortress, what should have been the lead. But fortunately, our opponent did come prepared, or his opponent did come prepared. The Sharpedos do have HP Fire on the Kyurem. Now, I was gonna say that Fortress should be the lead, and that's because of Sturdy. However, I am gonna correct myself, and I'm gonna say that even if he did lead with Fortress, and he went per HP Fire, the Terravolt would have broken through the Sturdy. So, here we are, guys. Kyurem Black really doesn't have a really good lead matchup. Probably the best lead matchup for Kyurem Black would probably be Medicham. I would probably say Medicham, possibly Weavile, even though Weavile could get OHKO'd. But anyways, now that I've corrected myself, let's go ahead and continue the match here. My bad? Whoa, what was that? I didn't hear that.
Yeah, Kyurem Black. Oh yeah, Kyurem Black's just broken in general.
Yeah, definitely. Now Kyurem Black here is going to be able to pick up 2 kills. One on the Fortress, as I said, the HP Fire just breaking through the Sturdy with Terravolt, as well as getting rid of Weavile here, as it's able to tank a Life Orb Icicle Crash and KO with Fusion Bolt. Now, of course, it does get taken down by Entei here, as the rocks will prevent it from coming in safely. But this here was really detrimental to the Reshiram's, as now they're down 2 Mons, and they've only taken out 1. Stunfisk gets a kill. I didn't expect that, but yeah, guys, Stunfisk, it did something. Took out Entei there. And of course, now Matty B, our boy, the coach of the St. Louis Reshiram's, they're gonna do some pretty interesting stuff here as they go ahead and bring Bulk Up Medicham. Now, as you guys know, Reuniclus is a fighting resist. Of course, Reuniclus is one of the few mons that could take pure power high jump kick from Medicham. It's one of the mons that are blessed with the ability to be considered a counter to Medicham once it's kept healthy. Of course, Bulk Up Medicham, on the other hand, we're not too sure about that, as Medicham pretty much really just bulking up and just being a threat here. He even has your Drain Punch to get recovery, so that's a pretty cool set. Unfortunately for our coach here, Matty B, he does get crit by the Reuniclus there. I will commend him, however, for bringing a very innovative set. Bulk Up, High Jump Kick, Drain Punch. Hello, that is pure innovation. If I've never seen that before. If our opponent did bring Psyshock, it might have been he probably still would have gotten crit, but Bulk Up would have worked a lot better there had Psyshock been what he had brought. Matty B does try to go ahead, bring it back with the Nasty Plot Thunderous here. He does manage to get rid of the Reuniclus, but at this point here, guys, Sylveon is just gonna come in, and the one thing that surprises the most here is our opponent decides, hey, you know what, I'm gonna choice Scarf my Sylveon. See Sylveon out there looking all cute with that scarf? That's right, guys. Blows back Thunderous, another mon that falls victim this week to hyper voice spam. And of course, choice Scarf Sylveon here is going to be the last one standing, as that is a win for the Sharpedos. Anything left to say there, Techno?
Yeah, just the way that Gypsy prepped this match kind of like sealed the game for him like early on, just because of the lead Kyurem putting on so much offensive pressure. You know, though there was like pretty intense hacks coming from the Sharpedo side, I feel like it didn't matter as much as they could have. So good game. Definitely good game. And here, guys, we're just gonna go ahead and go into the last match of this week here. That's gonna be the Philadelphia Scizors versus the Philadelphia Scizors versus the Butterfrees. What's the full name of the Butterfrees? My bad. I should be. I should know these things by now. As in, Detroit. Yeah, the Detroit Butterfrees. Of course, guys, we're pretty hyped because Chimpact does decide, hey, you know what, we're gonna bless these guys with our presence this time. Of course, that doesn't matter here, as Chimpact does have quite the match ahead of him this week. But anyways, let's go ahead and get right into what they brought. Here, of course, we're gonna see the Philadelphia Scizors bringing the core of Hippowdon and Excadrill.
that nice Sand Core, as well as Sun with Mega Charizard Y, Salamence, the nice physical wall of Slowbro, and Zoroark just playing games with everybody. Next up, we're going to see on the Butterfree's team, we're going to have Mega Houndoom hoping to take advantage of the Sun that Charizard will provide. Lando T, Licky, yeah, hi, Azumarill, Dragonair, surprisingly, as well as Crobat. But anyways, guys, let's just go ahead and get right into the match. He decides to lead Charizard as Crobat decides to come out here. A lot to say from this match here. Dragonair does come in here to prove itself to be the Charizard check. Unfortunately, Chimp does not seem to have Dragon Pulse on this set. Maybe he did, maybe he realized it might not be worth it to go for it. They do Toxic, the Hippowdon, they're managing it to pretty much wear it down a lot. Now, here's one thing that threw off, we could say threw off Chimp from the beginning, and that's Licky. Now, Licky, for those of you, I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I don't see Licky a lot in competitive mons. I don't play a lot of PU. Maybe that's just me. But Licky here manages to come in with its amazing bulk. You see that intimidating tongue right there? Yeah, Licky just running the game right now. Sub up on Hippowdon and just drinking those earthquakes like it's his job. As you guys are gonna see, that's gonna be able to get him free Swords Dance up there. He does pretty much try to get rid of Licky with the Intimidate and the this Mence. However, he manages to sub up on the switch, and as you guys are gonna see, Mence is gonna get taken down by Licky of all things, by the lethal tongue monster himself. Licky is just gonna run rampant on Salamence, and that's just gonna blow it away. Salamence is gone, guys. Nonetheless, now it pretty much proves that on the plus side for Chimp, there are no switch-ins to Megazord Y anymore, as Dragonair just gets blown away by the combination of Fire Blast and Focus Blast. Chimp just showing us why he doesn't really miss inaccurate moves here. This is Chimp Pack, guys. No free turns for our opponent right now. Now, of course, Slowbro. Licky is going to take advantage of Slowbro. And the fact that Slowbro can't really touch it that much, as it's amazing physical defense. It's not going to do much to it. With Psyshock, the sun is up, so Scalds aren't really going to do a lot, and that's going to grant Licky a free sub here. Fortunately, though, Zoroark does come back in to put Licky at bay. Now, some interesting stuff happened throughout the game here, and that's going to be Chimp's going to show his initial switch into Azumarill. It's going to be his physical wall Slowbro, as our opponent here decides, hey, you know what, I'm going to bring a Rest Azumarill, which it's definitely a good set there. Definitely capitalizing on the fact that Azu can get up a free Belly Drum and decide, hey, you know, I'm gonna go for Rest. As the Belly Drum set can, of course, break through Slowbro here, as you guys are gonna see. But nonetheless, here he does manage to annoy Chimp with the Rest Talk. Not Rest Talk. It doesn't bring Sleep Talk, by the way. But at the end of the day, here, Rest Azu was in a position where it could have been really intimidating to the opponent, but unfortunately does get taken down by Slowbro. Unfortunately, there's no Sleep Talk there, and he wasn't able to make full use of it. Nonetheless, Zoroark does come back out to get rid of Licky. Thank goodness. The invincible Tug Monster has been put to rest. And as you guys are going to see, Chimp is just going to be able to get a pretty comfortable game here, as he's managed to wall the Crobat with Slowbro. And he's also managed to wall Landorus as well. He does switch in his Houndoom on a water type and take a bunch of damage from Scald, of course, preventing Houndoom from coming back in. And now all Chimp really has to do, send in Hippo, set up the sand for your boy Excadrill, and now it's pretty much just Excadrill in a good position right now to just do what he gotta do. Managed to get that nice late game spin. Of course, Landorus being his last Pokemon, and Slowbro bringing the back, that's gonna be a good game in Chimpak's favor here. As even though he does manage to show off there with the HP Ice for Landorus on Excadrill, it doesn't matter. It doesn't manage to do enough to him, and he's just gonna be able to wrap this up, of course, with Zard Y going for that nice Solar Beam, and that's gonna be a comfortable, very comfortable 2-0 win for Chimpak right there, guys. That was a bit of a long one, but that was pretty much it. Anything to say on that long match there, Techno?
That was a good match. I feel like, of course, the Detroit Butterfrees prepped very well for their opponent, but Chimpact also prepped very well. So it was just really toss up, and it just kind of came down to where like the Pokemon that could kind of just hit hardest were, and kind of just like plays in general. So that was a very good match on both sides.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And guys, with that, that's gonna bring the closing curtain on this week's weekly recap. Once again, guys, we're gonna ask you guys in the comment section, what was your favorite play of the week this week? What do you think our coaches could have done? Which coach are you rooting for in this season of the CPC? Of course, us, the both hosts here, we do have channels. If you guys want to check out Techno, his link will also be in the description. Isn't that right, Techno? Yeah. And my channel will also as well be in the description. If you guys want to go ahead and check us out, what we do. Anything else to say? This is pretty much the end of the weekly recap.
Thank you guys for watching. We will see you guys next week. I really like recording these.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, guys, see you in the next week's weekly recap.